Pressing record. All right, and now we're just going to go live on. And we are live on TikTok. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the Realm Kings podcast, where the truth flows like wine. And like Tony Merkel says, the truth will enlighten you, it will set you free, but first it'll piss you off. So just be prepared for that, and then get over it, move on, and pick up back your jump rope and your go running and do all those things you normally do. Just don't fall for any of those stupid ass tricks that they try to put on you. Here, let me go to my thing and share it from my regular Facebook page real quick. Let's see here. The Realm Kings. I gotta find it, and then I can share this. Tune in, please. Go support the stream. All right. Okay, so Jay, how are you? How are you doing? How is your website going and all that? Mugsy.com. How are you doing with that?
Oh, pretty good, man. I just, as a matter of fact, I just did a revamp on it. So it's really fresh. Just a little.
I'm trying to make some moves here. There we go. All right, that's better. So you don't see my green screen, like that. I got the My NASA thing in the background.
I could see it on,
The stream,
yeah,
but you can't see it on your camera.
no,
Gotcha. All right, so we're talking, is space fake today, ladies and gentlemen? And look, we don't even know. We don't pretend to know. But what we do know is that we're willing to look. We're willing to look into it. And is that really such a crazy concept? Instead of just regurgitating what you were told by someone who doesn't care about you, why not investigate and examine some evidence and look into it? I mean, you've got nothing better to do probably. You're probably just watching Netflix or some sort of propaganda machine, catalyst that's trying to keep you occupied and your mind, so, jumbled with stupid ass, storylines and the same old, cinemagician rituals that you don't realize are happening right in front of you. Jay, what do you think? Let's start. Do you believe that we landed on the moon, or am I gonna have to go on a crusade tonight to prove to you that we did it?
I'm like 75, 25. It is a really hard stretch for me on a lot of the facts.
75 what?
I'm 75 to the no, we did not.
Oh,
Well,
okay. Okay.
yeah,
All right, yeah. I hear
75
you.
to the no, though, bro. There's way
I love how you added 25%, like, yes, like, respect. Like, respect. It's okay. It's okay not to know, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to be 100% on anything because you weren't there. You don't know. And all we can do is speculate by inputting the evidence into our brain and dissecting it and using our critical thinking to come up with the answer. Okay? And I may be kind of dramatic with that part, but it's true. I can't believe how many people just literally regurgitate buzzwords and talking points without even looking into anything. So, you know, hey, we're here, we're in it, we're cooking with gas already. So, 10 views. All right. So Jay, let's show you this picture.
Yes,
Oh no, wait, that's not. That's old.
100%.
We gotta go back. Sorry. Let me go back a little bit and see what we got. Yeah. All right, here we go. I gotta move this all the way to the top.
Earbuds. I gotta go with some over the ears.
Can you see this picture?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so we've got.
Now, I've been through. I'll let you know. I'm really well versed on a lot of the NASA lives, especially just functionality. Like, how did we get out of this radiation that was impossible, and then knew it, and we died. They came back to prove it again after their body. I mean, there's these things that really twist my mind. With, how is it not we're traveling there now on a luxury shuttle? 500 people can fit on it with as much technology instead of that back in 69 and now. NASA just started taking too much LSD. Is that what happened?
I mean, it really is interesting that I can't get a cell phone signal up north or in the middle of the ocean, but I mean, these guys talked to Nixon on a landline from 200,000 miles away. Like, I don't know, man. It just,
Right.
when you start using your critical thinking part of your brain, you're like, huh, but I thought our technology's way better now. Is it? Wait a minute. Hmm.
Well, and then
Interesting.
I've heard the recordings where the spacing, I think that they were the recordings where the spacing in the conversations was prompted so that they understood that they needed to live in there. And then he's like, wait, okay, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't pass that. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. But I don't think I passed that one to you. You must have.
Yeah, man, like they're a. But here's an even better one for you, bro. They told us that they lost all sorts of footage, right?
That's well. My favorite one is that they destroyed the technology.
They're releasing a bunch of footage they never released.
My favorite one is that they destroyed the technology, and that it'd be too.
Wow. I could probably get an artificial intelligence to tell me how to get to the moon and back efficiently right now.
Don Pettit, the oldest active astronaut at NASA, goes, "I would love to go back." This is his exact quote, and he did this in an interview.
Waterloo Cherry
I love it. He goes, I would love to go back to the moon in a nanosecond, but we destroyed that technology and it would be a really big headache to try to build it back again. And when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. I lived my whole entire life up to 35 years old or when I probably saw that, and I never knew that the narrative was we had destroyed the technology and that's why we haven't gone back. Like, that is not something that was part of the narrative for me. And when I heard a NASA astronaut actually say that out loud, I was like, what the fuck is actually going on in this realm? And I say realm very strongly because it means I don't know what the fuck we're living on. I don't know what we're living on. Who knows? You don't know. I guarantee you, if NASA knows, they're not telling us. They're not telling us the truth because they've been lying about everything over and over and over again. And I'm going to show this video here. Jay, can you see the... Oh, no, you probably can't. Yeah, I got to go back.
Yeah, it's all right. I got it over here.
Okay. Yep. So
Bring this in front of me so this is serious.
turn up your volume just for a second when I play this to see if you can hear it.
Very odd way of not
Did you hear that?
responding.
Hey,
Did you hear that, Jay? Jay?
Yeah, I can hear you plain as day.
Did you hear that video though?
No, not at all.
Ah, let's see here.
Just don't sweat it, okay? Don't sweat it. We're gonna do it this way. Hey Judy, that's the last thing I got up there right now.
Okay, here we go. This is Judy from the Challenger that supposedly blew up. Now this guy, she's a professor at Yale, and he tries to approach her and calls her by her real name, and watch her reaction. I love this. This is, being a fighter and a coach, I really am good at knowing human behavior. I know when someone's hurt. I know when they're lying. I know when freaking they're pretending to be hurt, and it's just, this is some interesting human behavior for supposedly someone that's dead, or this is an imposter, a doppelganger, someone that just looks like her. I mean, why would anyone just do this?
Judy, how you doing? I'm from the press. I just had a quick question. Don't mind.
What press?
From a radio station in San Bernardino. I know there's a conspiracy about
I'm
the
sorry.
space shuttle. No, I want to be polite. Friendly. Just a question. So there's a lot of rumors about you being on that space shuttle. Obviously, if you want to comment, we would really appreciate it.
Kind of odd that Judith is in full panic mode when realizing the press is in her
man.
presence. She's no stranger to being in the spotlight. She even made her way into Hollywood for a quick cameo.
If the choice is to allow Americans to be taken as hostages or to be executed, I'll bring my own rope. Saddam backed down, and Ambassador Wilson helped thousands get safely home. When he himself came home to the United States, he was warmly greeted by our president, who took him to the Oval Office and introduced him to the War Cabinet as an American hero.
Commander Dick Scobie had a company called Cows and Trees, and when you went to his website, there was an animation
Bert,
of a
stop
cow
right there.
taking off.
Break that down with her first. That's
Okay, so here, check it out. I mean, we just saw a lady kind of like, my thing is that what people are gonna say as soon as he says the word conspiracy, before he actually asks her about the shuttle, of course she's just gonna bail. She doesn't want to hear about it. So I can see, any of the already talking points for people. That's what I would say if I was looking at that and I didn't know what I knew, and I was trying to defend the narrative. I would say, look, this guy walks up to this lady, he says conspiracy, and she immediately just walks away, right? He should have hit her with the shuttle right away and watch her walk away the same way. You know what I mean? If I was the interviewer, I wouldn't have messed around. I would have went right. I would have been cooking with gas as soon as I walked up to her. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Straight for the jugular, and watch her freak out. And I suspect she would have done the same thing. And she uses the same exact name. She doesn't even change her name. I mean, it's ridiculous. And what happened was no one knew that the internet would be what it is. No one would knew that the internet would be what it is. And my theory, it's just like how the elite trust fund dorks tried to fuck with the Bible. They put a bunch of bullshit in there. And what I believe as I read it is that while they've tried to mess with it and take things out of it, and it still transforms you as you read it. You can find the bullshit in it, and then you can find what really means something to you in it, and it changes you. It transforms you. And that's what I think that this is really all about, is that these people are trying to transform our thoughts away from God as much as possible, and they use NASA and science, and not science but scientism, to try to get you believing anything that they say, especially if they're in a position of authority. Like, I call them the priest with the pocket protector in the lab coat. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Back in the day, they used religion to try to control the masses as much as possible. And at some point, they realized, it's better to use scientism to control them, because this will get them farther away from God, which is what they want, right? And people try to make sense of what's going on. They're like, it's just getting worse and worse. And it's like, yeah, if you don't look at it from a spiritual point of view, it'll never make sense. It'll never make sense. Yeah.
Me and Jesus are cool.
And then use it against, yeah, and then they use it against you and blackmail you, and they make you freaking do something that you don't want to do. That's all part of it. And what's crazy about the crazy thing about CERN, and what's funny is that I asked somebody today, do you know what CERN is? And they're like, no, what's that? And that's what most people say. I swear to God, most people don't even know what that is. I asked my parents that. They had no idea. So when you start talking to them about CERN and that it's not what it's pretending to be, and they're like, what's CERN? So now you got to explain the narrative, and then you have to explain your theory. And they're like, oh, well, of course it's a science. It's whatever science. That's why they have a big statue of Shiva the Destroyer in front of it. And it's built on an ancient site, an ancient biblical site where Abaddon is supposed to come out of the lower realm to freaking, wreak havoc on the earth. It's built right on top of it. It's right in the center of it, this ancient site. But it had, I'm sure it's just another coincidence. Nothing to worry about and nothing to pay attention to. I just think it's worth mentioning, right? Here, I was gonna play my Conor McGregor, like, I'd like to apologize.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, beautiful. I love it. Is that actually there or no?
These posters exist in my home. All right.
But they're not hanging there.
This is a green screen background. But when I put together my real background that I wanted, man, it's just not right. It just doesn't fit right. I'm down in my basement. You know what I mean? So it's like I gotta have a certain amount of space. So I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna green screen it up. And
And I don't. I mean, I watched that movie, but wasn't really paying attention.
I don't imagine you would. You're too damn serious.
Well, I mean, back in the day, I used to really just watch movies and be entertained. But now, when I watch movies, I write notes, I break them down, and I'm like, oh, look, there's the 666 there on the license plate. Oh, look, there's the 33 on the wall. They can't help themselves. They have to. It's a requirement.
Down these rabbit holes on YouTube where they get you to notice things in public. You really do start noticing things in public. I even notice a difference in license plates, like the way they're numbered, and I think that they give different class of citizens that they've already got marked a whole different lettering system for their license plates. I think that when you get pulled over, they already know what they're going to let you go.
Right.
What are you throwing up there? It looked like our astronaut was bleeding.
No, I was trying to see what that media file was, but I didn't really clean this up. Okay, so we didn't really talk about this photo real fast. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, there's lots of instances where if you really look at what's going on in these live videos, you will see bubbles. You will see bubbles in the live videos. Like, I've watched the live videos myself. Just I go to YouTube, go to a NASA from the NASA website and a live video, and just watch it. Really, just watch it with a critical eye, like you're a detective and you want to see if you can find something that's interesting or may help you with your case. And I promise you, you'll see bubbles. You will see inconsistencies of what the vacuum of space is you're told is. There's no fucking way that there's bubbles in the vacuum of space. There's bubbles because they're filming underwater. And it's a whole movie production. It's a whole movie production so that they can get their $18 billion a year in money from us, our energy, our loosh. And they just take it and they spend it on these underground bunkers that they're building for themselves that we're not going to be included. I mean, a guy drove from Kansas City to Las Vegas underground just delivering food for these elites. And he was blown away that he could drive. I mean, where'd that money come from? Sorry. You know what? I may be a little patronizing tonight. I'm in that type of mood. You know what I mean? So if I see if I seem a little patronizing, it's because like people want to argue with me and they want to debate, and I used to be that way. I used to just argue for the sake of arguing, but like I've been researching this stuff for a long time, and the evidence points to they're lying about everything, and I mean everything. Everything.
Brought up the number 33 earlier this week, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna let him go. I've been all down the Masons rabbit hole, and that's where that boils down to. And then that number 33, the reason they go to that specific degree is the multitude of 33.333 and how you make your 180 degrees out of 33.33 or 399, something like that. And but so it's the closest you can get to perfection.
Interesting. I think it's definitely multi-layered because so they make you believe that the 33 could be Jesus. That's when he died, or was crucified. And there was 33 vertebrae in our spine, and they allude to that, and that.
All right, the whole the flow.
Right. My theory is I just had a hunch. I was thinking about all the 77s at the Pentagon as I'm, doing this chapter in my book that's about fallen angel worship in the movies. And I'm going through all these movies and finding out what the name of the the angel is that they're claiming is the bad guy in the movie or whatever, the demon, whatever, writing them all down. I mean, and it's I'm only to D. it's pretty mind blowing. I mean, the
Favorites for that are Legion and Constantine.
yeah, two great ones, and they said they're coming out with a Constantine 2. Of course, I'm gonna see that in the movie theater and try to enjoy it. Try to just enjoy it. But yeah, I'll be taking mental notes, and then I'll go back and take real notes the second time. But what was I saying?
Oh, we're just talking about Angel's Name.
Oh no, 33 degrees. Mount Hermon is where the fallen angels first came down. Mount Hermon. In the book of Enoch, it talks about when the fall and what is how many angels came down? About 200 of the 600, 33%. So 33% of the angels came down and they landed at the 33 degrees that Mount Hermon sits on. And if you go to Google Earth and you go right to Mount Hermon, it sits right on 33 degrees. And I've listened to like 5,000 podcasts on. I've read so many books about this stuff in 10 years, and I have literally never heard anyone talk about this connection. I'm not saying I made some huge discovery, because obviously they worship this, so they know about it. The initiated know about it. The uninitiated don't know about it. But to me, it was an overwhelming connection to the number 33 and the fallen angel story. And in my opinion, this is all just fallen angel worship. You know, this is fallen angel spiritual war shit. You see that picture?
Yeah.
Why do you think they say the sky's the limit? Huh? Because we're covered in a firmament? It's kind of a funny meme. Just fruit for thought.
This one, I got one for you, man. I'm gonna,
Try to share it.
yeah, I'm gonna do a little trick here. Well, you can see that now, correct?
Oh, hold on. Let me grab my picture real quick.
This is astronaut. His helmet filled up with water.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god, yeah, I can see it.
Why?
Where is it? Where's the water?
You didn't see that?
I can't really see it because it's too small.
Right here, man. Watch his helmet.
It's too small for my eyes.
Oh, right here. Right there.
Is it just at the bottom?
No, it's inside of his helmet.
But how much is filled up?
It's a layer. It looks like it's a layer in between glass here. It's really weird, man.
I mean, that is interesting, but I have to look at it at
Yeah.
a bigger video.
You can't hear that.
No. But that is interesting. But ladies and gentlemen, the point is that look, we are just reviewing evidence, and don't shoot the messenger. Like, we're just presenting evidence. You can do what you want with the data. I'm not trying to change your mind. I don't care. You can keep believing these freaking lizard demons all you want. I know better. Yeah, when they tell me the asteroid's gonna hit tomorrow, I'm just gonna laugh and I'm gonna go jump rope. I'm gonna go run. I'm gonna come back. I mean, just follow space.com on Facebook every single day. That's why I follow it, just so that I can laugh every day about the asteroid that's gonna hit tomorrow. It's like, what a fucking joke. But people eat that shit up.
Yep, they do, man. There was a long stint I went on with the whole lizard meat. And then the one guy
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of famous, he does all the lectures on this shit. Looks like the guy that owns, he looks like the guy that owns Virgin Motors.
Oh God.
Little blonde guy, Michael.
And don't you think it's fucking weird that this guy, we're supposed to believe a guy that was on the Epstein flight log, Richard Branson, and his company is named Virgin? And we're supposed to we're supposed
The guy that talks about lizards looks like Branson.
I know, but Branson
Looks like him.
I know, but Branson is doing those space flights supposedly.
Trigger John. Sorry, guys.
Oh man, I'll smack, dude. I swear, I want to fight all of these trust fund dorks, just one on one, just
I would love to stream it.
just one on one at a time. Just line them up. Like they could go through 100 of them in one day. I know it. They have no skills. These guys have no skills. They inherit money from their bloodline. They inherit power from their bloodline, and then they just continue the cycle. They have no creative skill. I'll smack all of them. They need some sweet Navy SEAL assassin to do their dirty work. They can't do a fucking thing. Sorry. You know what? I'm. Oh man, people need to wake up.
Oh, sorry, that was
All right, so I got this picture here. Now I don't really pay too much attention to stuff like this because people just don't digest it as much. They need the video of the harnesses. They need the video of the green screen. They need to see with their eyes they're being lied to. They need to see the people supposedly on the space station drop the ball and have it fall straight down. They're like, oh shit, and they pick it up real quick. Like no one just saw you drop something that's supposed to have zero gravity and it fell straight down. Like, sorry buddy, you're caught. There's no rewind. You're going live. Alright, so the shortest distance between two places is not a straight line. Oh, this must not be it. That doesn't even matter.
No, yeah, they show a lot of that with flight paths, like how flight paths are being curved.
Right, and they don't make a lot of the emergency landing destinations don't make any sense at all because you're like, why would you drive so far that way? That doesn't make any sense.
They always tell you it's about airport location, hoping you just stop there and take their word for it. But then when you're like, oh no, well, most airports, yeah, but they can't do it like that. You know?
Now this is pretty.
Seen movies, man. I know what a jet can land on, bro.
Hell yeah, this is pretty interesting. This isn't really NASA, but you know how they're obsessed with their symbols. Now we have this.
Oh, the chevrons, man. Just look up the chevron. Just go on that, just that. Like the red piece in the NASA symbol. It's called the chevron.
Yeah.
You look up how many companies use those in specific ways, and then you'll see like all these different ties with the way companies use their symbols and how they're joined together. It's like a brotherhood. Like there's, I wish I could name some right off the top of my head. It's probably about 8 years ago that I wrote down now. But you're right. Just like Windows had the same kind of top section that the old map had.
Right. So this is so interesting, right? Because if you look on the Google Maps and you zoom in, it's like nothing's up there. Nothing's up there, and you have all these old maps, and it's got Mount Meru, the most magnetic place on Earth, which would make sense because if your compass is always pointing towards that, right, then that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, you think about their symbolism, you think about how they have to tell you and you start putting things together and really thinking about it, and you have these hunches. And that's what happened with the coordinates of Mount Hermon for me. I just was thinking, and I go, wait a minute, what is the coordinates of Mount Hermon? I'll shit my pants if it's a 33 degrees. And I swear to God, I click on it, and I'm like, no way. And for me, this is how God talks to you. He talks to you in these synchronicities and these hunches, where if you don't fight it and you follow the hunch, you'll go and you'll look into something, you'll go do something, you'll go talk to someone, you'll go meet someone, you'll go accomplish something that helps you for your bigger goal or whatever. Just stop swinging at windmills and just go with the flow, and you will end up enlightening yourself and in my opinion improving your life, you know. And
Push against the grain.
yeah, stop swinging at windmills, man.
Yeah, don't. I totally follow you on that, and I try to practice that as much as I can. And I just try to do whatever feels right at the time, you know. And so that pushes me off in a lot of different directions, but I learn a lot of shit from it. And I think that what just saying like my skill level with technology, you know, is pretty darn good, and I can thank my just ability to just flow with the day and let it happen.
Right, and you easily helped me get way better with my setup, which frustrated me for many months and years and whatever, you know. And you easily had me, you know, getting my other phone working as, you know, I mean, that's also a skill. You help me, right? And that's what we do for each other. We help each other, just like today in jiu-jitsu and at boxing. I've got, you know, 20 people I'm helping try to get better and better their life, and that's what it's all.
It's looking a lot better.
I know, but my nose is scratched up now. Is well, it's all part of it. These young bloods are all gunning for me. You know what I mean? They're all gunning for me. So I gotta stay on my toes if I want to stay ahead of the crowd. All right.
The most common question on anyone's first day is it always hurt like this?
And the answer is yes. Get used to it.
We always get hurt like this?
So this is
That
a.
one, I love that one. Dude. I'm in love with that picture right there.
I mean, are they just mocking us? I mean, to me, this is just blatant mocking, revelation of method, in your face mocking, you know, the whole thing.
You can describe Atlantis. Okay? I would love blow that picture up for me. Pull that up there. Expand that. If there were longitude, latitude lines that would be coinciding, you know what I mean?
Uh huh.
With where everything is, how, you know, feels it. I wonder how many lines are inside of that from center out. What if it's 33? And then not only that, is this exactly what they described Atlantis as?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15.
Those are phases of the moon and sun.
Yeah, it's 22. I don't know. I just wanted to count them because you just had me thinking.
You see how that rings around all of our landmass, but then there's that opening?
Yeah.
Is that not the description of Atlantis?
Right. Yeah, it is.
That's straight up the description of how Atlantis works. And then if you counted 3 rings inside, like I don't know, man. And then these outside lands out here, the outer lands,
Mhm.
would be exactly who came in and then back out and told us the stories, but some kind of catastrophe happens inside of the circle, and then they come back in and repopulate. You know?
Did you ever read the book The Iron Republic?
No.
Okay, so very interesting. The Iron Republic was written in the 1800s. Okay, and It's supposedly about an account of a captain that got sick of all this war and battles that were going on, and he just wanted to go take his boat that he got decommissioned, and he took a crew and they just went exploring, and they got through Antarctica. And this is a book written in the 1800s, right? So it doesn't make sense what I'm about to tell you. All right. So they go through the ice on the other side of the wall, the ice wall, which, you know, triggers the globe tards. You know, there we go. uh, and so they go through the ice wall to the other side, and they encounter a completely advanced civilization with flying mobiles and widescreen TVs and all this crazy stuff, and it makes you wonder, is that where some of this technology came from? Is that where extraterrestrials are, the extra land out there? You know, not from outer space, but just, you know, out there a little bit farther where they don't let us go. You know, I mean, to me, it's all in the words. I mean, you start going down the English language rabbit hole, and to me, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Just add that to the fucking all the evidence against these motherfuckers, and they are mocking you with every word you say. They are mocking you with every word you say.
What you just did is blending probably about 17 conspiracy theories. That's something I've always wanted to do work on, is finding out all these different core conspiracies and then all the outer lines, see how the different stories can all, maybe they all work together to tell the whole story.
I believe they do. Just like all the religions are trying to tell you the true story, a little bit of the true story, and people need to not fight with each other about your information or my information, but let's just compare notes. Let's just sit down and talk. I mean, okay, you're telling, the Muslims are going to say that, Jesus isn't, God reincarnated, but they do say that he spoke as an infant in full-grown sentences. You know what I mean? Even the Bible doesn't say that, right? That's pretty magical to me, right? So instead of fighting and arguing about, things that the elite, in my opinion, the elite purposely set up to get us to fight about, let's try to just investigate. Look up the definition of investigate and regurgitate, and then look how they're used in a sentence, and ask yourself, do you carefully examine things to find out the truth, or do you just repeat what someone of authority told you because, I'm not going to say because you're lazy, but because you trust them? Because you trusted them just like the rest of us. Man, I grew up with astronauts coming over to the house in the Florida Keys. These guys were like my heroes, right? I wanted to be just like them. And now I believe that they are just Freemason lying actors who probably had to do some initiated stuff that they didn't want to do just to get to their position. And just like at my grandpa at the end of his life, we're really scared at the end. We're really scared about the shit that they fucking did. And then they tell you about it, and they're like, man, I'm really worried. Is God gonna forgive me? And I go, yeah, I think he will. But I had no idea what actually went down, right? So all I have to say is that all of this stuff is really close to me, right? And I come from it, I the only reason I exist is because my grandpa was in a war where he blew people up for the establishment, and he retired to the Florida Keys, and my dad was chartering the sailboat, and he stopped in Fort Lauderdale where he met my mom, who was cleaning boats. And she's from Michigan, so she just happens to be cleaning boats in Florida. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's a lot of, to me, I'm here for a purpose. That all happened for a purpose. And I'm here to fight, to teach people how to fight, to build things, and to teach people how to look at information, I guess. And it took me a while to get going on my book, but now things are just flowing, man. And I'm getting ideas and chapters, and it's, to me, it's because so many things are working out the way they're supposed to. My new job is amazing. I hit the bag at 6 a.m. I go to work. I do awesome things, and then I get back to the gym. I hit the bag and I train with everyone, and then I go home and I see my kids, and right now I'm doing a podcast, right? So my whole day is spent accomplishing goals, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I can feel you there, man. I found someone that is absolutely a supporter. She has no problem with me, going through a flow in the day where this is us time. This is what I got to do now. This is what I got to do now. And here's some more us time. And she's all right with that. And so it means that I get to buckle down. I get to kind of organize my life so that I can do those things like I used to do, which is filming and stuff. And then I work a 4-day week, and then on top of that, I'm trying my best to put together. I'm trying to put together the perfect portable system. You know what I mean? Something that just fits right in one bag and has multiple cams, audio system, everything I need all in one. Just pack it and go, and I don't have to worry about a crap ton of equipment.
Right.
But anyway, but yeah, man, I get you. It's not an easy week. There's a lot of planning that has to happen to get things happening on all levels, whether you're getting ready for a fight, or we're getting ready for a podcast, or we're getting ready to go out and film a fight. That's a week of work on top of work, just getting everything here together. So when I get home, I can just slap together all my stuff and get the footage, and I don't have to dilly-dally on it.
Okay. You see this?
Oh, weather balloons.
Okay, so this is supposedly Starlink satellites, right? Now, let's just look at this from 2 points of view. A, satellites are on balloons, just like the Chinese balloon that came down, and supposedly it's a spy balloon, right? Why wouldn't they just use a spy satellite? Okay, if its satellites are real, why wouldn't they just use a satellite? Why are they using a spy balloon? No, all satellites are on balloons. They're called sataloons. And if you actually watch Level with Me, they go to the place where they launch these balloons, and they start talking to the guy about satellites, and it's hilarious because he doesn't even know the narrative. He's like, wait, what? Satellites? We launch these from these balloons here every day. And then they're like, no, man, satellites, they're orbiting. And he's like, what the fuck you guys talking? And he works for him. So and he comes out of the gate like a fucking mad. He's like, what the fuck you guys doing here? They're like, no, man, we're just videotaping. We're doing they talked him down, and they made it seem like they were there for other reasons, doing a different kind of documentary, trying to give NASA props. And the guy came out, and it was just so funny how he doesn't even know the narrative because he actually launches the balloons. So he knows the truth and doesn't pay attention to, whatever the news says about it or NASA, because he's so up to his ass in launching balloons. So okay, let's just, That's so fucking funny. I swear, when I saw that, I'm like, it's a wrap. Like, I mean, there's so many times when I see something like, it's a wrap, but yeah, that's a wrap. But look at these. Okay, so here's one of two options we have here. This is actually Starlink on balloons, and this is what you see. You think there's some special satellite. No, it's a balloons with whatever special little satellites they have. Or this is a time-lapse photo that's been doctored to, show you the same balloon, right? Now, this is me using critical thinking both ways, ladies and gentlemen. This is me looking at this picture and not taking it for just, oh, it's this or it's this. I'm looking at it and telling you, well, it could be this and it could be this. I don't know. I didn't take the picture. I wasn't there. I didn't launch the balloons. But the evidence is overwhelming that these people aren't just lying to you about the jab, NASA, what the world is, war and all these reasons for war and all these other things, but they're actually lying to you about everything. And you want to ask me the question, is everything a conspiracy? Literally, the answer is yes. Everything is a conspiracy. If you go down the rabbit hole far enough, huh? Yeah.
I'll tell you real quick what's going on here, okay? If you look at just the top picture, where the balloons are, if you trace them back to the ground,
Yeah.
either set, bro, the bottom left or the top picture, and you trace that back to the ground, how close those balloons are being launched together, you would have a much bigger organization of people and balloons and cords and wires and inflators and everything going on. That's a one balloon crew down. That's just a time lapse photography.
Yeah.
They messed with the sunset. That's all they had to do.
And also think about how big the lights are in the sky there. You would have to
Going across the sky, it's not that packed together. I mean, if you hold your thumb up, there might be like 5 or 6 about a thumb length apart.
yeah.
From the tip of your thumb to your bottom thumb. That's nothing.
And also that picture, right here, like in the black part where you see the lights. Like if it was following the same size of these balloons and how close they are together, I mean, you would have no gaps here, and there would just be a constant flow of lights because they're so small, and this would be so big. These have to be so much bigger, right? So we know this picture just by Jay and I going over it and using our brains and critical thinking, that someone on a certain side made that to try to push a certain narrative, which is this narrative is this is Starlink, these are these balloons, but they couldn't even be consistent with how they presented it, because that picture that they showed on the left, if it was actually the picture on the right in the sky with all those lights, they would be so close together, you would just see a constant stream. Yeah, I mean, you saw how close they were. You know what I mean? So, we're using our eyes to figure things out, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what you want to do. You want to use your eyeballs and not just regurgitate what somebody who hates you told you. Like, do you think...
Also, if you're a night watcher, which I am, I'm fair enough. I'm constantly showing Angie the difference between a satellite and an airplane. How you can tell how a satellite will light up from the inside and then slowly disappear. It's just because it's reaching past the sunlight, and so it just stays away. But now, if it makes any kind of a curve or anything, and I've seen some, they try to use the black. Let's go on this. The black knight satellite. Part of their story on that they like to use for facts on it is something about its north to south trajectory, routes the planet north to south. And I'm like, satellites do that all the time. I track satellites that go north to south all the damn time, man. Even at nighttime, I can tell you the difference between north to south. I can go as tight as north to south.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You
My
broke
back is broken.
what? A vertebrae?
But yeah, man. So there's satellites that go north to south. Nobody wants to do that. The difference is the flashing lights go flashing lights, and then does it fade away? Does it stop at a certain point and start moving up and out? And you can tell, man. You can tell an up and out pattern versus that.
Mm-hmm.
you know, where it just kind of, but they always maintain, and they're always staying at a certain level on the scene. You know what I mean? But you're looking straight out, and they're just disappearing with no more sign. And they're not just slowly going down over the horizon like you see the sun, right? Follow me yet?
Yeah, no, I follow you, and I follow your sarcasm as well. But
Because of the atmosphere, right? Remember all the stuff we looked at about how the sun doesn't go down; it just gets past that density.
yeah, it just gets, too far away from. That's what I was explaining to a kid at, at the gym tonight. Is like, look, man, it's like it's not going down. If you have if you had something that zooms in, you'll see it again. It'll be just as high above the water as you saw it 10 minutes ago, right? It will be. You just have to zoom in. He's like, no, I don't think that how it works. I'm like, well, you should try the experiment. And there's lots of these videos on YouTube of people taking their high zoom cameras and zooming right back in when the sun was gone, and then it's right back above the water as high as it was before. So all I'm saying is that I'm going to show you this picture right here, and we're going to zoom in. Now, according to if you go to the temperature calculator, at 100 miles, there should be 6,666 feet of curvature. I know, very convenient. On the 10s, it's always a 666, right? In my opinion, that's done on purpose because there's no curvature. There's no curvature. I mean, according to this picture right here, those mountains should be 12,000 feet below curvature. They should be below the horizon 12,000 feet according to their own calculations, their own formula that they give you. Those mountains you should not be able to see because they should be 12,000 feet below the horizon. We're talking curvature according to their own curvature calculator. Right, so at that's almost 200 miles. That's 190 miles. So you're talking 6,666 plus 2, which is going to be like 13,000 feet below the horizon. You shouldn't be able to see those mountains. And this isn't even the biggest gap. You can actually see mountains 400 miles away in certain parts of the world. You can see them 400 miles away, which would be, 30,000 feet below curvature or whatever. Below the horizon, if curvature was a real thing. But we know it's not. Try to find it. There's a guy who will give you 2 Bitcoin if you can prove curvature. So go ahead. His name's Flat Earth Dave. He's got 2 Bitcoin waiting for you, Jay, to prove your curvature. Go ahead. No one's gotten it. And you know why? Because anyone that tries ends up becoming I'm not even going to say it, but they leave globalism and they move to something else. And let me tell you, I don't use that word because I don't subscribe to the PSYOP. Now I think people are trying to take back the word, right? They're trying to own it. And I don't believe that word is very smart because Mount Everest is 30,000 feet high. That's anything but level, right? That's not level, right? Why don't you just say absent curvature Earth? Or I like realm. I really do like realm because it pretty much covers that, okay, it's not what they're telling us, but hey, you know what? I'm not really too preoccupied with the shape because I don't know what it is, but I can tell you it's not this mundane word that's become a psyop. I mean, the Flat Earth Society was created by the CIA to get people that look into it to believe all this bullshit. No, the people that actually believe in, the real theory believe in Flat Earth Society. That's a joke. But people always use that as like, oh, this is their what they believe. No, no one actually believes that. That's all part of the divide and conquer. We have to co-op, psyop everything. You know, there's not one part of it that they almost haven't thought of. But in my opinion, the internet is like the Bible in that sense that even though they tried to control it, it changes you. And it changed the game. Because it's the double-edged sword. They only thought there would be 10 websites. They had no idea that the entire library of Alexandria would be at our fingertips, and also Pornhub would be sponsoring NASCAR. Like, you know, there's no way to anticipate that. Even if you're a lizard from a bloodline that's been running this world for, 1,000 years. And in my opinion, dude, it's a wrap. Like, we should be, it's like 7 billion. Yeah. This is a fisheye lens, ladies and gentlemen. This is a fisheye lens.
No, that's curvature.
And if you look at Neil deGrasse Tyson explaining this video, they were doing damage control because they're talking about curvature here when he's jumping, and he realized, oh man, the earth would be too small right now if the curvature was that strong, right? It would be like, yeah, there's no way. So he had to go do damage control and be like, no, this is a fisheye lens. Now I want you to Google when a fisheye lens was invented in the 1920s. You're like, what the fuck? Wait, we've had a fisheye lens that long? Oh man. Oh shit. And listen, like, why would he land in the same spot if we're spinning so fast?
Yeah, you would end up.
He'd end up miles away.
150 miles away.
Right, no, but he lands right in the same spot. You know why? Because they're like, oh, when you're in the atmosphere, you get carried with the spin. It's like, they always try to, when something doesn't make sense, they just make it make sense for people that aren't going to look into it. But, go watch the Go Fast rocket. That, to me, that the Go Fast rocket proves a lot. It proves that there's something up there, and that when that thing stopped on a dime, something was going on. What does this guy say? Aldous Huxley. There will be in the next generation or so a pharmacological method of making people love their servitude and producing dictatorship without tears, so to speak, producing a kind of painless concentration camp for entire societies, so that people will live, in fact, have their liberties taken away from them, but will rather enjoy it, because they will be distracted from any desire to rebel by propaganda or brainwashing, or brainwashing enhanced by pharmacological methods, and this seems to be the final revolution. So, I mean, the elites that were against this, I mean, that guy's probably not in the initiated group where he gets invited to all the Eyes Wide Shut parties, but
You've got to look into all this.
he was unalive. Yeah, that's funny. We have to say that.
He was one of those that his sci-fi fantasy novels were peaceful.
You want to Google something messed up? Look up Philip Marshall right now. Philip Marshall. Airline pilot.
Just
Just Google
Google it or YouTube it.
it. Yeah, just so you know the information.
Philip Marshall.
Philip Marshall. American hero.
Is that the one you keep showing the picture of? An actor?
No. This guy was a pilot, and he was trying to tell us about how 9/11 was bullshit.
Assassin's Creed, former airline pilot conspiracy. Is that what I'm looking for from the Daily Mail? They're kind of credible.
I don't know. You may have to go down a little bit, but I know that they what they did was they killed him, they killed his 2 kids, they killed his dog. The wife wasn't there, and he wrote a book. What?
telling you what, John, I'm American. In America, we trust Google, and if it's not the first 5 responses, it's worth looking up. Okay? Just go back to your freaking kitty memes and start trying to find some funny stuff to post on Facebook for your friends.
Well, that
First 5, you're out of there.
that used to be true, but now they're trying to like psyop everything. For example, if you Googled Black Panther in the year 2000, it would come up, hey, there was a group that was standing up for the rights of African Americans, and they were fighting against the establishment. Now what they've done is if you Google Black Panther, it's just a movie about superheroes. You know what I mean? So that's what they've done. That's all part of it. Yeah, this guy, he's trying to tell us about what happened, and then they make it seem like he killed his kids and he killed his dog, and then he killed himself, and all he did was, write a book, and he's letting us know that, hey, I'm an airline pilot, and I'm telling you right now, it didn't go down like they're telling you, and then he gets unalived. So my theory is that when you become a pilot and you become, you sign certain disclosure agreements. And just like anyone, the Illuminati doesn't like a rat. But if you sign one of these agreements and then you go and you be a whistleblower, that's when they take you out. That's why they don't take out every conspiracy theorist that's talking online, and they can't, because I think they do believe in this certain type of, there's certain rules that they have to abide by, and it seems like it's a green light to unalive people if they've signed some sort of Faustian pact, which has to do with whatever maybe their job is. For example, who is the guy, the musician that just signed like this $100 million deal, and he's like crying as he's trying to like sign it, and his buddy's like putting his hands up and he's like praying to something, he's doing like a ritual, and then the guy's sad, and then they hug, and then a week later his nephew gets killed, and everyone's like convinced it was a sacrifice. I mean, that's what I mean. If that guy steps out of line after he signed that contract, he's going to get unalived. He's going to hang himself from the doorknob of his hotel room with his belt, and they're going to run your name through the mud and make it seem like you were on drugs, you had mental health. And I think that's what they did to Elvis. I think that's what they did to Michael Jackson. I think that's what they did to a lot of people that had the message of, here, hey, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. Because they ended up all saying that. That's why Elvis gave away all his money, and he just wanted to be a monk, do martial arts, do yoga, and meditate. And really, that's all he wanted to do. And then they tried to make it seem like he died on the toilet because of drugs. And it's like, no, man, he was a sacrifice, and he knew it. He knew it. He told his friend 2 days before, he's like, I'm going to be leaving here in 2 days. He's like, where are you going? He just smiled and said, I'm going to miss you. You were?
Absolutely. I show you right now in my back office.
An invitation to the Illuminati?
Absolutely. I am not messing with you, man. I'm about to show you. I got a little bit of a lag in my internet because I got a lot of flow going right now.
I got a lot of flow.
Got a lot of flow. Oh man, there used to be this guy out of Detroit area there. Jay Stories.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look at these pictures of the Earth that you can Google and tell me which one is the actual Earth. Which one is the actual Earth, and why is the picture so different if this is just a photograph from a satellite? Also interesting is that the moon sure does look pretty dull to, be lit up like it usually is. This is kind of a weird picture, but I this is one of my favorite ones. I gotta admit. I know you know the answer. So which one, ladies and gentlemen, are we going with? Let's see. Let's check TikTok. Oh, there are some people. Oh, here we go. The two biggest lies. Let me read you these comments that are on TikTok here. Great to question everything. The two biggest lies are NASA and World War II. You should watch Europa, The Last Battle. It'll blow your mind. Thanks, Brooke. Appreciate it. It is on YouTube. All right, so far, all positive comments. It doesn't look like the Illuminati's trying to censor us more than just shadow banning us. Because there's only 4 people watching. All right.
All right, here we go.
You're about to play it?
Well, I don't have to play it, but all right.
Make it bigger. Make it the whole screen, can you? Or is it your whole screen already? Illuminati. The world's biggest. I think I got one of these too.
I said sure.
That's so funny.
Thanks for the invite. Have you ever looked into joining? Yeah, man. I've asked a couple times.
I've asked a couple times.
Like the Masons, man. It's, you gotta ask one to be one. That's their motto. Did you know that?
It takes one to know one.
No, you gotta ask one to be one.
Ask one to be one.
Yeah, that's actually how the
Check this out.
that's how the Masons operate, bro. You gotta go and ask to be a Mason. They won't come in.
Right. I almost feel like I want to do it just to see how far I can infiltrate the.
Your local shit ain't good.
No, I mean, but hey, what do I got to do to get to the 4th degree, the 5th degree? Then I'll work.
Oh, you can hit those ones easy.
I'll work my way. I'll work my way up.
To 24 or something.
You'll get to like 24, and then they'll make you go slap someone at the mall. You'll be like, go open hand, smack that guy, and see what happens. Be like, all right, man, I'm good with the 24th degree Illuminati. I'm good.
I mean, and I'm not downplaying anything, but like up at U of M, man, I know a couple of the guys there that are Masons. One of them's a champion. They're not high end.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. I think a lot of it is here. We're gonna.
Fight Club, you got guys everywhere.
Yeah, it is, because you got your lower level. They're going to have it be everywhere so that they can hide and they walk amongst us, right? And they have these little Boy Scout clubs down the street where your local people want to throw a circus. And then, well, if you're invited to certain parts of initiated, you can make it to the 33 degree, where they're going to let you in on the fallen angel worship, in my opinion. So this is...
You gotta be in 100 millionaire plus on college guys. Been in their frats, all that shit. You gotta be Mason for birth.
This guy I'm working for, who's I'm not gonna say his name, but we're doing a job for him, and he's a billionaire. He owns multiple companies, 60 plants all around the world. Owns a water bottle, owns a bottling package. He owns a water bottle company, actual water company. And this dude is worth like $7 billion, and he was invited to the Illuminati parties and to be a part of all that, and he said no because he wants to follow God, and he doesn't need to be that big. He doesn't need to be any bigger than a few billion. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And this is just what I heard secondhand from someone who's been working for him for a long time. You know what I mean? So, you know, but he said that he was invited because I was going down the rabbit hole with this guy today, and he's been working for this guy since the 70s, you know, so it's pretty interesting, you know. You got any other pictures?
Oh, just what I was looking around.
Did you see that Lucifer one that I just showed you?
The one from last week.
Oh no, hold on. Okay, let's look at this one real quick and I'll go back to that. Okay, so we have
What do you think? You think I should take the offer if they really if they give me a phone number?
yeah, and then just don't show up. Just be like, all right, I'll be there, and you know, have the limousine waiting, and it'll be like Illuminati, like, you know, like leaving dog shit on their porch and running, you know, you got them. So here's a fisheye lens used at high altitude balloons compared to a fisheye lens not used, right? So people set their phones up and they send them up on these balloons, and they you know, obviously the phone gets destroyed, but you know, the video goes to the cloud or whatever, and they somehow can, you know, get the video, and every time they send their phone up, you don't see any curvature. And in my opinion, you don't even see an edge. Like, if you look at this bottom corner, I mean, you don't see an edge. You can see where the black meets the blue, but you don't see an edge. And this could be the same concept as with, you know, when the sun moves out of your eyes, you know, okay, you just can't see any farther than that. I mean, in my opinion, that could go on forever. Like, that could just keep going on. And that's kind of like my crazy theory, is that when they tell you space is infinite and that it goes on forever and there's all these planets and you're just, you know, just a piece of dust in the universe, that there's a million like you in infinite universes, and there's infinite us having this conversation infinite times and infinite universes. I just think it's all just make you feel so small. And I think infinite is that edge. I think infinite is you'll just keep walking. If you and me are in this bottom left-hand corner and we just keep walking, we're not going to walk over the edge. We're not going to come around the other side. We'll just keep going. And that's why they don't let people go explore, because they'll just go explore an entire new realm, a new world, and they can't have that because they need to control you. They are obsessed with this control. Trust me, it's not about money. If they can just print more money with nothing backing it, then it's not about money. It's about something else. If they can just print money from nothing, then they can just keep printing it and giving it to themselves. Then it's not about money. It's not about money. It's about control. It's about controlling your attention and controlling your energy. And why do they want to do that so much? They don't want you close to God. They don't want you figuring out what's going on. They don't want you figuring out that this is an ancient, spiritual, fallen angel war.
You know what? And I think a good thing for what we have here for a platform, if it's a platform, but is to let people know that you know, keep yourself busy.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes absolutely knowing about this stuff and then just staying in your own zone helps you get past it. It helps you move into that manifestation focused energy. If you can zone out all the BS that we have to deal with on this planet on a daily basis, like, you're doing really good. You got a good start. And then find something to do, man. Go for walks. You know, go find a gym to work out in. You know, follow John's videos on his exercises and stuff. He'll jump rope you to death. I don't care.
You don't get why I do it so much?
Oh, just, man, it's like you just got this routine on your jump rope that just kills me, man. You're like
Well, I follow this girl who's, shout out to, was it Snorreeb on Instagram. But this girl is the 32 time world champion, been winning world champion since she was in kindergarten. And I mean, she's incredible. You want to talk about incredible? I'm not shit. Tori Boggs, that's her name. Tori Boggs, world champion jump rope girl. Go follow her on Instagram, and then get back to me how sweet you think I am. You're gonna be like, John, you're a joke. You need to step up your game. And I'd be like, I know, I have goals. And they involve doing a backflip off the balance board with a jump rope. So, I'll get there.
I know I can get back down in weight. I just got to go do it. My wife, she's out walking every day, doing her diet plan. Doing a really good job at it. But I'm just not that guy, man. I keep telling her, like, I just don't do diet. I'll go walk and shit like that.
Do you like meat?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like vegetables? Okay, so you don't have to diet. You just have to eat what you like and not eat probably something else that you also like. Just focus on what you like. Just focus on the meat and the vegetables, and you'll lose weight and you'll achieve all your goals.
Well, I
You
got a bonus factor, which is that she's gluten-free. She's just like 70 irritated by it.
yeah, so you it helps.
Don't keep it in the house anyway. So,
That'll help.
flour for some, it's almond flour, or oat flour, but man, a lot of that stuff comes out pretty good. I gotta say she changed my mind a lot on like pastas and bread and stuff like that. And I was down to 195 for a little bit, and then I got happy, I guess.
All right, let's check out this last picture.
Got me.
So we got this sigil of Lucifer that if you match it up next to what they tell you is the narrative of an eclipse. It's pretty similar, the diagrams, in my opinion, this is how they hide things. And they always hide things in plain sight. Remember, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing you he didn't exist. And I think that's in the name. They get you thinking about this guy with red horns who's the devil. They get you thinking about Satan, which just means adversary, which whoever you're fighting in the cage on that night is your adversary. That's your Satan. So all this word, play is what they're all about. They're about these symbols. And once you learn to not pay attention to, the narrative and read the symbols, you start really knowing what they're saying. And, in my opinion, the evidence is over with. Any jury in the world that saw all the evidence that is out there, they would all convict. There's no one that would let these people off the hook. No one. They would be like, all right, so what else you got? As soon as they realize, they'd be like, well, what's next? What else you got? And you would just start showing them everything, and it would just destroy the entire, elite Malachian trust fund dork. All right, and so let's just finish right here. The last thing we're going to show you is this map that used to be one of the main maps that they showed back in the day. Now, believe it or not, they still use this map in the 1930s, right? And they were teaching this map in school. And you'll see this map on every logo. It's on the UN logo. It's on, a lot of world government logos. The world, and they all use this flat Earth map. And I don't want to say that word, but that's what this is, the original flat Earth map that they shows you in this little area. And north is here. And when you go around the world and you fly around, they're like, well, how do people get around the world? Well, follow my mouse. They start here and they fly and they go, ooh, and then they're back in the same spot. And they went around the known world that they know, just like that. And you would think that what you did was do it the other way on a globe, but it's the same thing. You can go around the world on this map too. And when you start studying this map, all of the emergency landings don't make sense on a globe map, but they make complete sense on this map. So that's just more evidence to kind of look into, you know. And in my opinion, NASA is the easiest one to debunk, because literally there's so much evidence that you can use with your eyes to discern, where other things are a little bit harder and you have to read a lot more symbolism. For example, demon worship and connecting that to statues and ancient myths, and you know, in biblical, you know, now you're talking, you know, there's not as much evidence because people need to see things with their eyes. And in my opinion, just go over these videos, go watch those 3 documentaries, Level, Next Level, and Level with Me. And if you still believe in NASA, then I don't think anything will ever wake you up. So just keep buying your shirts from Kohl's or whatever.
I'm gonna pull that up.
What is it? Oh, yep, and that's what I was playing, you know, when that lady ran off. That was from Level with Me. And what they do is they go through and they find every single person that's on the Challenger. And look, 2 of the guys miraculously have twin brothers that never existed before. The other lady's using her same name. She's still a freaking professor. The other guy has a website using his same name, which actually has a cow strapped to a rocket that's blowing up. It's just like hilarious. Like, that's just like making fun of everyone. And then obviously the other guy was old, so he probably did pass away in the midst of hiding. And so these people are out there. And then you look at the video of the Challenger blowing up, and the dad of the teacher's laughing. He's like cracking up. Like, if I'm a dad, I have 3 kids and 1 son. I mean, I have 3 girls and 1 son. If any of them were hurt in a rocket that blew up, there's no like laughing and coming to reality. Like, oh, hey, what did that blow up? Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, I just, you look at the human behavior, you look at the reactions to people have, and in my opinion, you couple that with all the evidence, and it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Fuck these elite Malachian trust fund dorks and all their rituals and all their beliefs. And, you know, I care about them as much as they care about us, which is they hate us. And I hate them. But you know what? I'm still going to jump rope in the morning. Yeah, here she is. Yeah. The evidence is overwhelming. You know, with the same teeth. And then look, they try to go and they... Now, in my opinion, they kind of messed up when he says, oh, I want to talk to you about a conspiracy. Watch her face. Oh, she just bails right away. Now, he should have just hit her with the question, the direct question, and watched her do the same thing, which would have helped his case more. I think soon as he says conspiracy, all the people who fighting indoctrination are automatically going to cling to that, which I can understand, so I can see their point. See, I'm always trying to be a master of perspectives. I'm trying to, you know, just like in the ring, you know, I'm trying to put myself, when I'm fighting, I'm trying to put myself in the perspective of the judges. I'm trying to get out of my own head. I'm trying to get in my opponent's head. And I'm trying to think, what did the judges see? Well, they see combination punching. They see aggressive. They see you walking the person down. You know what I mean? So try to get in the other person's head. Try to get in their perspective, and you'll have a better opportunity to communicate to them more efficiently. And you can see that this is where probably that water that got stuck in the guy's helmet came from during his little training session that they were doing right here. Some Freemason, elite Malachian trust fund dork astronaut. That's the guy that'll give you Bitcoin right there.
Oh
Yeah, that flat Earth Dave guy. Go ahead, try to prove the curvature. He'll give you, if you can prove it without a shadow of a doubt, he'll give you 2 Bitcoin. That goes for anyone. No one's done it. You know why? Because there's no curvature. It's real simple. Jiu-Jitsu Jesus. Jiu-Jitsu Jesus, you know, he's telling you what he thinks. My theory is that Joe Rogan actually acts like he's not agreeing with Eddie, but he's slowly, like, the way he's like asking questions now, and there's something up. He's like, I think he's on our side, and he's like slowly exposing things, like in a way where it's so slow it's driving you and me crazy. Okay, there's a satellite. Yeah, that's a satellite. Oh, there's the scientific. This is so funny. All right, you got. All right, we're gonna stay on it. We're gonna stay on it. We're gonna watch this part. This is where they launch all the balloons and the satellites for NASA, right? And this guy comes storming out of here like a fucking, like, he does not fucking around. And he's like, and watch, he doesn't even know the narrative. He doesn't even know that here he comes. Watch, here's his truck right here. Oh God, I love this.
I remember seeing this.
Yeah, this guy's like, what the fuck are these guys doing? Look, he just drives right over. Whoa. I'm just doing some filming. Filming what? We're just doing a documentary. No, we're independent journalists. Are you filming me? He's like, oh, well, I mean, we're in public, so there's no expectations of privacy.
We got NASA conspiracy that balloons are really what satellites are, and we have First Amendment audit going on, man. All in one freaking shot.
That's hilarious. Yeah, they did a good job with this. Now watch how this...
There's no expectation of privacy in public. I'm allowed to film anything I can see.
Did you hear that he just said? He's like, they will shoot you if you try to go up and fuck around. Like, he's trying to... He doesn't even know. He didn't even know. He doesn't even know about satellites because he's so... That guy is so busy. He is so up to his ass in launching a satelloons that he doesn't even know what a fucking satellite is. Oh my God, that's my favorite part of the movie right there. That's my favorite fucking part of the movie. That guy works for NASA, comes out of there like a bat out of hell, gets First Amendment audited, and then admits that he doesn't even... He's like, what? Sorry, my friends, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Like, I don't know, man. Just use your brain. Like, look, don't shoot the messenger. We're just providing the data. You know, I'm not saying... I'm definitely not... You'll never hear me say the earth is flat like these guys. I don't say that. I like to use the word realm because I'm not up there. I've never been up there. I've never seen it. I don't know. I don't know how deep it goes, how hollow it is, how far it is. But I can tell you that we know there's dead bodies up on Mount Everest, a lot of them. People walk by them, right? So we know it's way up there. We know it's up there. And we know the Marianas Trench, it could be the deepest part of the ocean. Maybe. We don't know. Because I don't think we know anything.
They're saying that they've discovered a whole ocean underneath the crust below the ocean, bigger than the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because they're going to slowly they're going to, when it comes to science, they're going to slowly change the narrative as much as they want, because that's what it does. There's no consistency, and when you're testing things, they can change. And so, but they get you believing that something's stamped it in concrete and it's never going to change, and that's not true. These scientists are arguing all the time. Don't believe in just scientism. Let me leave you with one of the quotes in the Bible that I randomly open up my Bible every day, and I just read the most line on that page that means something to me, right? And sometimes I don't find that much on that page. But the other day I found something very interesting, and it made me think of what science is. And here's the quote. And I think it's Colossians. It's in Colossians early. Sorry. It's test all things and hold fast what is true or good. Hold fast what is good. So it's test all things. Hold fast what is good. There's your science. There's your scientific method right there in the Bible, telling you not only test all things, test me. Test me. Keep what is good. It's telling you. It's literally telling you. You just have to stop swinging at windmills and listen to the messages that God is trying to give you. That's all I'm going to say.
Right on. I think that's a good note to leave on. And next week we can maybe we'll explore the scientific side of things and what science is maybe hiding from people, and how science works its way through the magic of concealment, And maybe we can hit on a couple things on that next week. Who knows what else we'll talk about?
Yeah. Yeah, gotta love these conversations. We try to go for an hour and we end up going for 2 hours. So, praise Jesus.